possible, send it back and we'll refund your money. No questions asked. To order or for more information, call Delaware at 1-800-OFFER-94. Write it down, 1-800-OFFER-94. For a limited time, get free next-day shipping. Call 1-800-OFFER-94 or visit your nearest CompUSA, Computer City, Egghead, or other fine retailer today.
And now, another edition of Behind the Scenes at the Clinton White House.
Give me Governor Cuomo on line 2. Hey, Mario, good buddy.
Bill, forget it.
Listen, Mario, I need your help on this health care bill.
Stay away.
If you could just go around the state with me next month and help me sell it to the voters, it would sure be a lot of help. And there'll be lots of photo ops in it for you. You and me just standing there smiling.
Bill, I'm grateful for your kind and generous offer. But let's face it, you've so much on your plate already. You got health care to worry about, NAFTA, Somalia.
Tell you what, if you help me out, I'll campaign as hard as I can, all over the state.
Thanks, but no thanks. Look at what happened to Dinkins and Florio. Do you think I'm crazy? Stay away. Look what happens to the people that you go near. They sink the minute you get there. Let's face it, you're not popular. You're not popular. And the way for you to get popular is to stay away from me.
Mario? Mario?
Join us next time for another edition of Behind the Scenes at the Clinton White House.
Healthy relationships are an important part of good health, and for most couples, a healthy relationship includes sexual intimacy. Current studies show that as many as 30 million men in the United States are affected by impotence, and most couples don't talk to their doctor about the problem. Why? Because most couples don't realize that impotence is treatable. Most of the time, the cause of impotence is an underlying physical condition, like diabetes or circulatory problems. It's important to discuss impotence with your doctor to find the cause and select the best treatment for you. Remember that impotence is a common condition that's easy to correct. For more information about impotence, its causes, and treatment options, call the Impotence Institute of America and Impotence Anonymous at 1-800-669-1603 to receive the free pamphlet, Answers to the Most Often Asked Questions About Impotence. Learn more about treatments for impotence and keep good health in your relationship. Call 1-800-669-1603.
Rush Limbaugh! Doing my own shouts now. Look, since many of you people think that I am being a bit too critical of the president, try this. I'm also upset at the way they're portraying the president's approval ratings to be even higher than Reagan's. Whoopee-doo! Let's compare events at the same point in their presidencies. Right now, Bill Clinton is enjoying an economic upswing that he had nothing to do with, but that he is taking full credit for. Who should get the credit for this economic upswing? Well, if you want to assign it to a president, you have to assign it to the president who was in charge during the period of time the economy began to rebound, and that would be George Bush. Now, let's look at Ronald Reagan. In his first year of office, he had a recession. And what was he coming off of? He was coming off 4 years of absolute economic malaise that really was part of the worst economy in the last 50 years, Jimmy Carter. So to say that Clinton's approval ratings are higher than even Reagan's is not exactly factual. I mean, it's factual, but it's not the whole story. Because when Reagan, people forget, 1982 was a recession. It was a huge recession, one of the worst recessions in this country's history. And we came out of that recession with tax cuts that Reagan fought so hard for and won. Here's Sue in Petaluma, California. Hi, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Rush.
You bet.
I want to thank you very much. I'm a mother of twin babies, and you keep me informed, and I consider myself an informed person.
Thank you very much.
I also want to let you know I come from a family of conservatives, and our biggest argument was who discovered Rush first.
Really?
Yes.
Well, who did?
And, well, I think I did back in the early 80s, somewhere driving on I-5, and I must have, I don't know, gotten you out of a Sacramento radio station.
That's right. That would have been probably 1984.
And my husband and my brother just don't believe me at all. They think that they discovered you first.
Well, they're men.
anyway, the reason I'm calling is because I believe that Mrs. Foster should be questioned in the suicide of her husband. Unfortunately, we had a family member commit suicide, and we knew of the depression level, and it almost came as no surprise that it happened. And she must be questioned in this. I don't believe that he was depressed to the point where this guy would commit suicide. He was too of an intelligent person to do it. And furthermore, just listening to you from the comments out of the New York Post, it sounds to me like his body was moved. If it was suicide, could it have possibly happened in his office? And is that why the office was sealed, so that they never had to say that a person committed suicide in the White House?
Well, I don't know. See, this is where you get into open speculation, and it's what I've tried to avoid doing. And I'm not being critical. These are questions that everybody in America is asking themselves. Why isn't the media? As to Mrs. Foster being questioned, I don't know. I don't know that she hasn't. And if she has been, I don't know that we would be told if she had been questioned. I would assume she has been questioned by whoever did the investigation, those park police. But look. I think the independent counsel, the special prosecutor, we've just got to see. It's also going to be interesting to see just what this story appearing in the New York Post causes others in the media to do. That'll be the next interesting step to watch. Anyway, Sue, I'm glad you called. Thanks also for your patience. It was really great to talk to you.
Thank you.
You bet.
Bye-bye.
Brooklyn, this is Chris. Welcome to the Rush Limbaugh program.
Hey, Rush.
Hey.
Trying to reach you for days.
You made it.
For days. I'm calling about Janet. Let's have a weenie roast in Waco, Reno.
By the way, do you know that her second and third in command resigned today?
Yes.
Yes, because they can't get along with her.
Who wants to be associated with her? Okay, before I get into my call, I just want to talk to you about, do you still want a label for the presidency?
Sure.
Okay. My brother came up with this. It's brilliant. The Whore Boar presidency.
The what?
The Whore and Boar presidency.
Oh, the whore and... Well, see, we couldn't say that. we couldn't say that.
Okay. Well, I have to give you my dittos. Mega dittos, mega buku dittos from Howard Stern and Baba Booey country.
Hey, it's great to hear from you guys.
Okay.
Great to hear from you fellas.
I need, now, I'm calling about Janet Reno once again.
Right.
Almost a year after the Girgenti report, and almost 2.5 years after the pogrom that killed Yankel Rosenbaum, she's decided that Yankel Rosenbaum's civil rights were violated. But isn't it funny that how immediately, within 2 days, she jumped on this fake, phony, fraud basketball coach, black basketball coach thing, that they were going to strike.
Yeah, and got the federal government involved in that or whatever. Look,
Isn't it ridiculous?
Yeah, she has a lot of explaining to do. And in fact, this civil rights investigation that they're going to do conduct into the death of Yankel Rosenbaum is actually a bit too narrow, and it's I guess it's not a day late and dollar short, but it's still, from what I understand about it, it's left many still dissatisfied with the full scope. And you got to understand this stuff in context. I mean, this Justice Department didn't wait a moment to make sure that those cops in L.A. were nailed and put behind bars, whatever it took. Rodney King's civil rights were violated and so forth. And here you have a case of literal murder in New York City, in Crown Heights. The murder of a Jewish student simply because he was Jewish. Yeah, I mean, if there is ever an example of civil rights being denied, it was here in New York, and it's taken a year and a half or longer for Janet Reno and the Justice Department to look into it. And that's the sense of proportion here that's missing, too, has got a lot of people upset. We'll be back in a moment.
Do you know the U.S. Department of Education reported that 2/3 of high school students cannot read at their grade level? Do you know, and other study shows, almost half of fourth graders lack basic reading skills? Where does your child stand? Call the National Right to Read Foundation, a nonprofit organization, for a simple 15-minute test you can give at home to evaluate your child's reading level. Is your child a reader or a statistic? Call 1-800-READING. 1-800-READING. This is WGBR News, Goldsboro's very own.
This is Wayne Alley. Homeowners and businesses on Imperial Drive in Goldsboro have been assured by State Department of Transportation officials that it's not intended to close Imperial Drive when they build an overpass on Spence Avenue across Highway 70. One businessman said, "We're just happy they're not going to close it." A speed ramp will be built to come off Highway 70 down by Walmart to give motorists access off Spence Avenue. It will come down to 70 going east. Property owners were told the anxiety or concern is that motorists merging and turning off at the same time pose somewhat of a hazard, thus the reason for the decision. Frank Tillman of Fremont Motors said everyone favored moving the access road to a service road a quarter of a mile away, and all were happy they're going to continue to have access at the new location between the Mazda dealership and the Irish Inn. Construction of the overpass on Spence Avenue across Highway 70 is scheduled to begin by this fall. Wayne Sheriff's officers responded to Highway 222 North yesterday in response to a break-in in progress and found property owner James Williams detaining two suspects. 18-year-old Jimmy Earl Ellis of Wilson and 25-year-old Jesse Ray Whitted of Route 3 Wilson were charged with breaking, entering, and larceny and placed under $10,000 bonds. Wilson told officers he noticed a small white car backed up to his garage as he was returning home. When he approached the two suspects, he said they told him they'd put the stuff back. Mike Gurley stayed with the suspects while Williams checked out his house and barns and got the assistance of deputies. The study of materials stored at Security Mayflower, prompted by city council members because of rumors, is about completed. Goldsboro planner Gene Thomas indicates they found nothing of a hazardous nature.
Information that I have obtained, Bill, indicates that the storage at the security facility is basically agricultural chemicals. It's a distribution center for your major chemical manufacturers. There are no radioactive materials stored. There was no mention made of any explosive type of materials.
Goldsboro City Planner Gene Thomas. Goldsboro police officer Philip Oxendine resigned from the police department this morning following his arrest on 2 counts of obtaining a controlled substance by way of a forged prescription. Oxendine's been on administrative duty with pay while the SBI investigated the allegation. Oxendine had been on the police force more than 5 years. I'm Wayne Alley.
We expect lots of clouds with just some occasional light drizzle this afternoon. The heavier precipitation will likely hold off until later tonight or tomorrow. There could be a few patches of freezing drizzle early on this afternoon in the extreme north at Roxborough and Henderson. Temperatures this afternoon will range from 34 for highs at Henderson to about 45 in the southeast at Wallace. For tonight, clouds and drizzle this evening, then steadier rain moving in toward morning with temperatures climbing through the 40s. And for tomorrow, cloudy with periods of rain much of the day, highs 57 to 64.
You're listening to the Rush Limbaugh Show on 1150 WGBR. From the rocky shores of Maine, where old men mend fishing nets under the blazing noonday sun, to the surging power of Niagara, to the awesome natural beauty of Yosemite, to the bustling multi-ethnic metropolis of the Golden City, Los Angeles. This is Limbaugh Country.
And now back to the phones to Hayward, California. Rob, hi, welcome to the program.
Hi. I didn't think I'd really get through to you.
Here you are.
Yeah, I'm not a ditto person.
Okay.
So I'm kind of nervous here.
No need to be, but you're a first-time caller?
Yes.
Yeah. All right, so you're not a ditto head and you're not a first-time caller, so, okay, I understand. So, but you don't need to be nervous. Whatever you have to say, we talk to everybody in this show that gets through.
Oh, okay.
And there's no reason you're not going to get cut short. You're not going to be argued with. You are not going to be impugned, made fun of, or otherwise insulted.
Okay. You made me kind of mad this morning with that statement about the guy who committed the rape.
Yeah, the 20-year-old guy who raped a 79-year-old widow.
Yes.
In 1992.
As I understood it, you were saying that he is not responsible for her death.
I think it's a stretch because now they're saying that the stress that he caused her by raping her is a weapon of murder. Well, and that's a legal stretch. I look, as I said, I'm in rocky ground here anyway, because I'm not trying to in any way, shape, matter, form say that rape is not a horrible traumatic thing.
Let me give you an analogy.
All right.
Last year, somebody jacked up my car in front of my house in my driveway and stole my tire, my wheel, and my lug nuts. It took me 2 days to get all of those things back together again. Probably cost me a couple $100 so that he could get a $35 used tire. Now, I could have died going down to junkyard searching for my wheel. I feel that guy would have been responsible for my death. I mean, if somebody is going to commit a crime against someone else, then he should be expected to pay consequences for all damages, not just the value of what he took.
What makes this tough is that I am probably on the anti-crime bandwagon as loudly and vociferously as anybody is.
Yes, and what your comment seemed to me was it was exactly contrary to what you've said in the past.
I know. I knew I'm running a narrow line here in trying to explain myself, but I think that it is a stretch. See, if you go down to the junkyard to try to replace your tire and your lug nuts and everything else, and while there somebody commits a crime against you,
not a crime. I fall and kill myself because there's a hole in the ground or something. I mean, whatever.
Well, that's an
I would not have been in that junkyard ever in my life if somebody hadn't committed a crime.
No, but you didn't have to go to the junkyard in the first place. It was your choice to go there.
The car that I have, the dealership left the area, and I could not get a new wheel unless I drove a long distance and paid a huge price. I had to go to the junkyard or have a car without a tire.
Well, you can't have a car without a tire.
No.
But I still say that because you're in the junkyard and you fall in a hole, break your leg, have an accident, I think that it is a legal stretch to assume that the guy who stole your tire is responsible for that, especially when you take this out and consider murder.
I agree with you that it would be a legal stretch, but morally, if I commit a crime against somebody else, I don't feel that my moral obligation ends with restoring what I did to them. It could be far more extensive than just the single damage that I caused a person.
Yeah, but we have to invoke the oft-used and mostly overused, but what next and where does it stop argument.
Well, once I commit a crime, why do I have the right to feel that I can invoke it? I mean, especially when you're talking about rape. I mean, and to an old lady, that was just terrible.
I agree. It's inexcusable. I am not trying to excuse it, nor am I trying to soft pedal it.
I would applaud the guy that is trying to get the criminal to go to jail for life. I think that's great.
Why are you saying that?
Because what he did was so awful that there should be a life-term sentence even if the woman lived.
Ah, now see, there we go. Now that's different. That is
only different because I'm extending it. The fact is that I still believe that his original crime could have been the cause of her death.
Yeah, well, you see, proving that you're never going to get murder out of that. You may get manslaughter, you may get murder 2, but you can't get murder 1 out of that. Murder premeditated. I'm going to kill somebody. That's you cannot get a 100% murder rap on something like this.
Well, I realize
my problem here is,
but when I was a kid, my parents told me that if I was with somebody that committed a crime, I was liable.
You are. Felony murder rule.
Well,
absolutely right.
I haven't seen anybody enforce that. But
well, they try it all the time, and that's what Catherine Ann Power, or whatever her name is, that participated in robbing a bank where a cop was killed in Boston. She turned herself in after 30 years of torturous evasion of the law. It was a felony murder rule that made her an accomplice to murder. She drove the car. She had nothing to do with actually killing the cop. She didn't fire the gun. The felony murder rule is what got her because she was part of it. Look, it is where I'm centering on this is on the side of responsibility, and really, if you look at this case, the woman is raped in 1992. She's 79 years old. She had lung cancer at the time. She had congenital heart failure and pneumonia when she died, in addition to the lung cancer. Now, you got a lawyer trying to say that it was stress that killed her. Now, when we are going to suggest that stress is a murder weapon, that to me is just as bad a distortion of the law as banging somebody on the head with a brick and saying they're not responsible for it because they did it when they were part of a mob. It's too big a blurring of the law. And I think you can go off in both directions in the wrong way.
Is it a lawyer or a district attorney that's bringing the case?
Let's see here. I have this. This is from the San Francisco Chronicle. You're calling from, where are you calling from? Hayward? Yeah, so you should, it's in your paper. When is,
I get a local paper.
Oh, all right. Well, let me see. The trial began yesterday. Garcia, according to a coroner, prosecutors will try to prove the 1992 attack brought on depression and stress. Yeah.
No, I agree with you that they may never win the case, but I applaud them for trying. I think that the guy should be tried for any possible consequences to a crime that he's responsible for, if he premeditated the original crime, which, how could you possibly rape somebody without premeditating it?
Irresistible impulse.
To rape a 79-year-old
Sure, you may have just decided to spur the moment to do it.
She was on the phone to 911.
Yeah.
And on the spur of the moment while you were in her house.
I'm not being funny. I'm not. You never know. Irresistible impulse could have been just a spur of the moment decision. Decided to do it. I've never raped anyone, so I don't know how premeditated they are. You're probably right that most of them are, but I think some of them also are not. But still, the argument that everything that happens to a crime victim after the crime is the responsibility of the person who committed the crime is something you can carry it out so far. If I were in the mood here, I could construct one of these, and you'd see how absurd that you could take it. And see, that's what I'm afraid we're doing. I think we are in the process of reaching absurdity when it comes to determining guilt, innocence, and look at the Menendez trial, for crying out loud. They can't get a jury to decide that what these guys did was what they did. Even when involuntary manslaughter, can't even get them to convict on that. In involuntary manslaughter in California, you don't have to have a reasonable fear that you're going to be harmed. You could have an unreasonable fear. There's so many fruits, nuts, and idiots out in Southern California that the law has to be written to accommodate people who don't even have a rational fear they're going to be hurt. If you are unreasonably fearful that you're going to be hurt, and you respond to self-defense, you can get off on involuntary manslaughter. So we want to convict people for things they didn't do, and people who do things, we seem to go out of our way to acquit them. And neither approach is I think proper. Anyway, glad you called, Rob. Hope you enjoyed the experience. Did you, by the way?
No, I want to defend California for a moment.
Oh.
You said that there were a lot of nuts out here in California.
I said Southern California. I've specifically avoided Northern California.
I thank you.
Yeah.
The entire state comprises, from the recent numbers I've seen, 12% of the population of the United States.
Yeah.
And so I certainly agree that we have 12% of the nuts of the United States.
Yeah.
And because 12% of the nuts in the United States are in California, it might seem like we have a ridiculous number of them here.
Well,
but we might have more than 12% nuts. I'll even grant you 14%. But I do think that an awful lot of them come from other states, too. So I think that the entire country has gone nuts. And I don't think that California...
Well, that may be, but they're still there, regardless how they got there. Whether they were born there or moved there, they're there. But you've still got all kinds of sane people, too. Big state. You got virtually every lifestyle represented, every political party, every religion, every... income level is represented out there. Every hope and dream, every bit of laziness, it's all represented out there. But my point was this. You remember back in the golden days of radio in the 70s when the most listened to talk shows in Los Angeles were shrinks? Psychiatrists and psychologists. Nowhere else in America did that happen. They tried it. They tried syndicating those shrinks, and they didn't fly. So occasionally, maybe in Detroit, one went over for 6 months or so, and maybe somewhere else one worked. Maybe in New York, at 4 in the morning on Sundays, you had a successful shrink on the air. But in L.A., they ruled the roost. Shrink talk show hosts were the stars. And that's because they got a large enough clientele out there that'll listen to them on the radio. You need it. Okay, we'll be back after this.
You're listening to the EIB Network.
The vocabulary of the average person stops growing by age 25. Your vocabulary is limited. Your potential for success is too. Hi, this is Rush Limbaugh. Verbal Advantage, Achievement Dynamics' powerful audio cassette program, gives you the words you need to succeed. Just by listening, you'll learn word meanings, pronunciation, and usage. plus essential power words to give you confidence in any situation. To learn more, call now, 1-800-28-TAPES. That's 800-28-TAPES.
There's a revolutionary breakthrough in vitamin C called Ester C. Ester C takes effect faster, delivers more vitamin C where it's needed, and stays there longer. And Ester C is completely non-acidic with no stomach upset, even with large doses. Ester C's efficiency comes from a natural metabolite so unique it earned Ester C a patent. Ester C, spelled E-S-T-E-R-C, the vitamin C that's faster acting, longer lasting, more powerful yet gentle. At GNC, Payless, Thrifty, Save-On, and all fine health food stores.
Monk's Furniture Warehouse in LaGrange has set the standard for saving, selection, and satisfaction. The Warehouse Way for over 10 years. From all over eastern North Carolina, customers save every day at Monk's Furniture Warehouse.
You come in, I think you're going to be pleased with the down-home atmosphere that we have there. We've been here 10 years because of the customers that we have. We really appreciate that, and that's what made us successful.
Even after the sale, satisfaction is still the goal, with service from the store that saves you more the Warehouse Way every day. Monk's Furniture Warehouse.
We give good service on our product. If one of our customers has a problem, we want to know about it. When we find out about it, we're going to get them satisfied and get that product taken care of for them.
Monk's Furniture Warehouse in LaGrange. They thank you for your continued patronage for the next 10 years.
And I really want to extend a great appreciation to them for what they've done for us for the past 10 years.
Monk's Furniture Warehouse, Highway 70 between Goldsboro and Kinston at Little Baltimore.
Great moments in copier history. In the beginning, good things came in pairs.
Noah, build an ark.
Okay. And so Noah built an ark and filled it with animals, 2 of every kind.
2 aardvarks, 2 ants, 2 anteaters.
Hey, Noah, do we have to bring those guys?
Don't worry, Mr. Ant. All will be well.
And so the time of the great flood drew near.
2 weasels, 2 wombats.
It rained for 40 days and 40 nights, and all those aboard the ark were safe and dry.
Noah, where'd all these rabbits come from? I thought we only brought 2.
Yes, dear, but they've been busy making copies.
Speaking of copies, right now is a great moment in copier history. Today you can buy a qualifying copier or fax from McRae Graphics and get a Toshiba portable phone absolutely free. For your Toshiba copier or fax needs, call McRae Graphics at 1-800-768-4349. With offices in Asheville, Charlotte, Greensboro, and Raleigh, they cover North Carolina from the mountains to the coast. McRae Graphics, dependable people, dependable copiers.
For a station list, picture, or to leave your comment, call 1-900-884-RUSH. That's 1-900-884-RUSH. The call is 99 cents a minute.
Okay, Carson City, Nevada, and Sue, and we're back to discussing the Andersons of State of the Union show fame. Yes, Sue?
No kidding. Megaditos from Carson City, Rush.
Thanks for calling.
You're one of our favorite topics of conversation when our family gets together.
Thank you. You know, I just remembered something. I had this as part of yesterday's show, and I didn't get to it. We got a fax. Somebody in Carson City says they're not allowed to listen to this show at work. They can listen to any other talk show at work. They can listen to any other station or whatever. They cannot listen to this show at work, and they're accusing censorship, and I don't remember the name of the company. I'll find it out of yesterday's show file, and we'll talk about it tomorrow. As I want to hear what you have to say now about the Anderson situation.
Okay. The other night, my husband and I were watching Clinocchio with his speech, and he mentioned Richard and Judy Anderson, and I was angry.
You know them?
I know them because I worked in the doctor's office that they came to before he had his heart attack, before he had his problems. Extremely overweight individual with diabetes, wouldn't watch his diet, wouldn't cut out his alcohol. I mean, just... And it pisses me off that he can say that his problems were a result that he didn't have any medical insurance. He didn't take responsibility for his life. And it's typical, it seems to me, these helpless people that want to blame other people for their problems. You know, my husband and I went into bankruptcy 2 years ago. We were forced into it because of financial problems. We were working 3 jobs to pay stuff off. And we've worked hard for our goals and worked hard for our families. And that's what you do with bankruptcy. You don't have to lose your house. You homestead it, and you make arrangements for paying some people that you can. Bankruptcy doesn't mean that's the end of your life. That means that you have a problem to overcome.
Well, it really made you mad, huh?
Yeah. because we take care of our problems and we take care of our health so that we don't burden other people with those things.
Well, did you know the Andersons before any of this happened in the hospital?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I worked in a doctor's office. I really can't divulge.
I'm not asking you to.
Yeah.
I don't want to know any more details of this. I just, because I don't want to be misunderstood about this. You must understand the whole purpose here of my comment is to, again, sort of point out to people that the president is simply taking these poor people's plight, turning it into a typical American sob story, and trying to say that this is an example of how the American healthcare system is failing. Didn't fail.
No, I'll bet you that the bankruptcy is the result of things that were going on before that even happened. He went into bankruptcy so fast before he even arranged the payments with the hospitals, and I know these people because I've worked in them. It's just...
Well...
It's distortion. It's like the rest of the story, please. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, there's those of us that work hard and take care of our responsibilities.
That's right. As speaking of which, the show with yours.
Oh. Well, I raised 3 children by myself. One of them's a teacher now that loves her kids in her class. The other one's career Navy, and my youngest daughter's an exchange student in Japan.
An exchange student in Japan? You mean you have a Japanese citizen living with you in Carson City?
No, we didn't have to do that. The Rotary program would prefer that you take somebody, but it's not required.
I see.
So she's...
house.
Yeah, really. But I really feel that he's responsible for what happened to him, and he shouldn't blame anybody else for it.
All right, Gene, I'm sorry. Sue, thanks very much for calling.
You're welcome.
I'm glad to hear from you, and thanks for spicing things up.
You're welcome.
I'll see you later.
You're listening to the EIB Network.
Here's news about a revolutionary product for active people. It's called Ginsana, and it's all natural. Ginsana is the first and only ginseng product scientifically tested for 25 years. Who uses Ginsana? Middle-aged men and women, senior citizens, busy executives, college students, and athletes. No sugar, no caffeine. Ginsana. Now, the people who bring you Ginsana present Garlic brand garlic. Garlic contains almost twice as much allicin potential as any other garlic tablet. That's the ingredient thought to be responsible for garlic's goodness. Garlic's a convenient 1-per-day tablet that's odor-free, tasteless, and easy to swallow and digest. Ask for Garlic brand garlic. And remember, for good health, exercise, cut fat and sugar from your diet, and watch your cholesterol and blood pressure.
Garlic from SunSource Health Products. Products that work naturally at Kmart, Revco, Osco Saxon, CVS Peoples, and Payless. For a free brochure, call 800-777-2000. 777-2000.
Buick Skylarks from $99.80.
Yeah, right.
Buick Centuries from $10,450.
Sure. Who believes that? And what about the rest of the story? You'll have to haggle with the salesperson. You'll only get a good price if you're really lucky. They'll only give you $100 in trade. Sounds familiar, right? Not at Courtesy Buick in Goldsboro. We sell cars a different way, a better way, the no-hassle way, with our best bottom-line prices marked right on a great selection of program cars. At Courtesy, Skylark program cars really are priced from $99.80, Regals from $11,980, Park Avenues from just $18,950. And at Courtesy in Goldsboro, you don't have to negotiate or hassle over price ever. Shop for your next car the no-hassle way at Courtesy Buick on Highway 70 East Bypass in Goldsboro, the only no-hassle Buick dealer in North Carolina. Tax tags and $129 dock fee are extra.
Waynesboro Furniture, downtown Goldsboro, is your mattress outlet center. Along with a full line of furniture, the most important item for a good night's rest is quality bedding at the lowest prices in town, and they're ready for your selection. Mattresses of all sizes, priced as low as $139 for a single-size set. Lifetime warranties protect your bedding investment. For bedding, furniture, home furnishings, and accessories, buy there, pay there, save there at Waynesboro Furniture, 119 North Center Street, downtown Goldsboro.
nightly from 5 to 10, including Sunday. Enjoy Eastern North Carolina's finest surf and turf buffet at Madison's on New Hope Road. All you can eat. And listen to these items available every night. Slowly roasted prime rib, char-grilled sirloin, Alaskan crab legs, steamed shrimp, fried fish, stuffed crabs, oysters. I could go on. 6 to 8 tasty vegetables, the largest salad bar in Wayne County, and there's even an all-you-can-eat dessert bar for $12.95 per person. Nightly at Madison's, New Hope Road, Goldsboro.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Rush Limbaugh program. Not a murder weapon or any other type of weapon. Simply a means of spreading joy, good cheer, and warmth and happiness. Here we are on the EIB Network. Gene in Springboro, Ohio. I'm glad you called. Welcome to the program.
Thank you. Mega dittos from me.
Thank you.
I agree with you all the time, almost all the time. I listen to you every day.
Thank you.
But I do have a problem with it seems like you're out of touch with the area of health care. So I'm really calling not to tell you anything, but to ask you to please help to research the areas for people like myself. We do have insurance, but we started off with a policy, we still have a policy, $2,500 deductible per person per incident, because that's all we could afford. Now, you and I both know that's only a catastrophic coverage. If we can't afford a better insurance, if we have a major problem, we're in serious trouble. I know an acquaintance, someone that goes to our church, a young man. He's 35 years old. He's had 3 open heart surgeries, and he cannot get health insurance.
Yes, ma'am. I'm aware of all this. I am not out of touch. I'm totally aware of just how absolutely criminal the cost, the lack of any kind of cost sensibility is in healthcare. And that's exactly the problem we have, and I know why we've got it. We've got the problem precisely because government has been involved in this for 30 years, and people other than the patients have been paying directly for the bill. And so when you don't pay for it at the time you get care, when an insurance company pays for it or the government pays for it, you, the customer, which should be the instrument of driving this whole thing, you don't know how much it costs per se, and you then care less and less, not maybe you specifically, but people in general. And so what's been allowed to happen is that a bastardization of market forces has occurred. Now, I think that we have the finest health care, once you get it, that's available in the world.
Absolutely.
Better than it's ever been. We do not need to totally revamp it based on Mr. Clinton's notions of what's fair, just, or whatever. What we need to do is find a way to get the costs down so that the ordinary American citizen can afford it himself in a reasonable way and get rid of this fear of not being able to pay for the care that he can get. So no, I'm totally in touch with what's wrong here. And I know how expensive it is, and I'm worried it's going to cost everybody far, far more than what it costs now if Mr. Clinton gets his way.
24 hours a day, the North Carolina News Network Weather Center will keep you informed with the very latest weather developments. This is meteorologist Greg Fischel. Get the latest weather information for Eastern Carolina right here on 1150 WGBR.
This is meteorologist Bill Schmidt in the North Carolina News Weather Center. Find out the latest weather information throughout the day with the most up-to-date forecast right here on your first information source, 1150 WGBR.
Well, hi, your name is?
Bob.
The average family spends 40% less time together than they did just one generation ago.
This your big game? Yep.
Your dad here?
Something came up.
Oh. This your house?
Yep.
Your family here?
They're over there.
The average family spends less than 10 minutes a day talking to each other.
It's family togetherness time. Everybody outside for a picnic in 2 minutes.
In your family matters, make sure your family matters. Message from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
WGBR, Goldsboro's very own.
From ABC News, I'm Doug Limerick. Figure skater Tanya Harding practiced again today in Portland Then she read a statement to reporters.
I had no prior knowledge of the planned assault on Nancy Kerrigan. I am responsible, however, for failing to report things I learned about the assault when I returned home from nationals.
Harding said she learned some people close to her may have been involved in the attack, that she was shocked, but did not immediately report what she knew.
I have since reported this information to the authorities. Although my lawyers tell me that my failure to immediately report this information is not a crime. I know I have let you down, but I have also let myself down.
And Tonya Harding declared despite her mistakes and what she called her rough edges, she still wants to skate in the Olympics.
I know I have let you down, but I have also let myself down. But I still want to represent my country in Lillehammer, Norway, next month.
Harding then took no questions. Meantime, her ex-husband, Jeff Gillooly, is again meeting with investigators in Portland, Oregon. More Americans will be killed by guns than traffic accidents in a few years. So say federal health officials, who note that more people already are shot to death and die in wrecks in states like California, New York, Texas, Maryland, and D.C. A number of big city mayors say one thing cities can do to stop the crime and the violence is resell guns that have been confiscated. Phoenix Mayor Paul Johnson.
It doesn't make sense for cities to be in the business of gun running.
Federal officials note that while the number of fatal traffic accidents keeps going down, the number of gun deaths keeps skyrocketing. You're listening to ABC News.
Doctor, what is this gadget here?
This is called a fetoscope, and it's to listen to a baby's heartbeat when it's still inside the mother.
What kind of battery do you have in there? Duracell. Is that because they last so long?
It does last a long time because we put this thing to use a lot. We listen to lots and lots of babies every day.
The medical journals ever discuss why Duracell batteries last?
No, I've never seen a study on batteries.
They duck the big issues, don't they?
Yeah, they avoid all the controversial stuff, They just do the easy things.
Duracell. No other battery lasts longer.
Can you refer me to a specialist?
You know when your throat's so dry and scratchy and almost feels like you swallowed a cat? You need medicine, not those candy cough drops. You need Cepacol lozenges. But what if your throat's so raw it feels like you swallowed a slightly larger cat? Then you need really strong medicine. You need Cepastat lozenges. Cepacol for sore throats. Cepastat for really sore throats. Use only as directed.
2 of the 3 remaining assisted suicide charges against Dr. Jack Kevorkian have been dismissed. A Michigan judge became the 3rd judge in that state to declare the law banning assisted suicides to be unconstitutional. So now just 1 charge still pending against Dr. Kevorkian. The Senate's voted to urge the Clinton administration to lift the long-standing trade embargo against Vietnam. The hope is that better relations with Vietnam will mean more information on MIAs. The Pentagon says 20 highly sophisticated F-15 fighters going to be sold by the U.S. to Israel, price tag about $2 billion. Can you believe it's still January? It's the month that just won't go away. More ice and snow and cold now covering much of the country. 20 to 30 degrees below zero in parts of New England this morning. Kathy Cooney is with LL Bean in Maine. She says the phones there have been ringing off the hook with orders from people in search of warm clothes.
The coats are selling. People are calling up our customer service people and asking for anything warm. At this point, they don't even care what it looks like. Just give me something warm.
Cooney also says some people are probably shopping by phone because they don't want to go outside. Super Bowl fever spreading through Atlanta. Some diehard fans reportedly paying up to $5,000 for a seat. By the way, an NFL veteran says he's had enough. Howie Long's announced he's retiring after 13 years with the Raiders. On Wall Street, the Dow is up 15 points, 39.23. This is ABC News.
The best deal in town on a home loan is Countrywide's best price guarantee.
How's it work?
Apply for a fixed-rate home purchase loan from Countrywide. Low rate, low payments.
Yeah.
And if you can get a lower combination of rates and points elsewhere, they'll pay you $100. Countrywide, affordable loans, best price. Call now, 800-877-LOAN. 800-877-LOAN. I like it. Countrywide, equal housing lender. Some restrictions apply.
For the ABC Information Network, I'm Doug Limerick.
My dad always said a good motor oil is the best mechanic your engine can have.
For him, that meant Kendall Motor Oil.
For more than 5 generations, people have trusted Kendall Motor Oil to protect their engines. Today's Kendall protects better than ever.
My car is still my responsibility. I treat it right.
Kendall has a 112-year tradition of constant improvement. You can trust Kendall quality. Kendall Motor Oil. Pour in the protection.
Distributed in this area by Moffat Oil Company of Goldsboro.
My favorite activity is probably cheerleading. I love to cheer.
Shriners help kids. Kids like Beth Cole. Thanks to Shriners Hospitals for Crippled Children, Beth participates in high school sports with the aid of 2 artificial feet. Shriners help thousands of kids under 18 like Beth with big and small problems. The care is some of the finest in the world, and there's never a charge. For more information, call Shriners Hospitals, 1-800-237-5055.
We expect lots of clouds with just some occasional light drizzle this afternoon. The heavier precipitation will likely hold off until later tonight or tomorrow. There could be a few